When you think about The Simpsons, you probably don't picture raw strength. But this family has pulled off some feats that border on superhuman. Bart has survived electrocutions and car crashes like they were nothing. Maggie once fired a gun and saved Homer's life. Lisa has outsmarted entire towns with nothing but her willpower. Homer has taken punches from heavyweight champions and walked away. And Marge overpowered a gang of bullies with nothing but raw strength. Today, we're breaking down exactly how strong the Simpsons family really is. Starting with the most reckless and surprisingly tough member. Bart Simpson is the ultimate troublemaker. He's the kid who'd rather skateboard off a roof than do his homework. And somehow, he always walks away without a scratch. But behind the pranks and one-liners is a kid who's proven to be way tougher than he looks. First, let's talk about Bart's insane durability. This kid has been electrocuted, flattened by cars, launched out of cannons, and even swallowed whole by animals. Any normal 10-year-old would be in a full body cast or worse. Bart, he just shakes it off and keeps going. In fact, in Bart the Daredevil, he literally attempts to jump Springfield Gorge on his skateboard. But by mistake, Homer jumps instead of Bart. But it's not just about surviving accidents. Bart has shown surprising fighting skills too. He's gone up against Nelson, the toughest bully in school, and held his own. And while Nelson usually comes out on top, there are moments where Bart's quick thinking and dirty tactics actually let him win. Bart doesn't fight fair, and that's exactly what makes him dangerous. Then there's Bart's creativity, which is its own kind of strength. Give him something as small as a slingshot, and he'll turn it into a weapon of mass chaos. Fireworks, spray paint, prank devices. Bart's brain is constantly finding new ways to fight back against authority. In some episodes, his ability to improvise under pressure is what saves not only him but the whole family. And perhaps Bart's greatest strength is his fearlessness. He doesn't hesitate to stand up to bullies, corrupt adults, or even supernatural forces. When you've seen Bart talk back to Sideshow Bob, outsmart Principal Skinner, and face down mobsters like Fat Tony, you realize this 10-year-old has more guts than half the adults in Springfield. Bart's not the biggest or the strongest, but his mix of resilience, cleverness, and sheer recklessness makes him a force to be reckoned with. If he can survive gorge jumps and mobsters before hitting middle school, just imagine what kind of power lies in the rest of the family. And if Bart's already that strong, wait until you see Maggie, the baby who might secretly be the deadliest Simpson of them all. At first glance, Maggie Simpson looks harmless. She's a pacifier-sucking baby who can barely walk. But don't let that fool you. Maggie has some of the most shocking moments of strength in the entire show. In fact, she's proven more than once that she might be the most unpredictable Simpson. The biggest example comes in Who Shot Mr. Burns. Everyone suspected Homer, Smithers, or even Mr. Burns himself. But in the end, the truth shocked the entire town. It was Maggie. The baby managed to pull the trigger on a gun and shoot one of the most powerful men in Springfield. It wasn't just a gag, either. That moment cemented Maggie as someone you should never underestimate. But that's just the beginning. Maggie has displayed strength far beyond what a normal baby should have. In Marge Be Not Proud, she's seen carrying objects far heavier than her tiny frame suggests. In A Streetcar Named Marge, when the daycare takes away her pacifier, Maggie rallies an entire army of babies to break free, crawling through air vents and taking down adult guards like she's leading a prison escape movie. It's leadership, strategy, and force, all rolled into one pacifier-chewing toddler. And don't forget her incredible aim. In multiple episodes, Maggie's been shown with deadly accuracy, whether it's throwing objects across the room, shooting Mr. Burns, or firing a rifle in the Treehouse Horror parodies. These moments show that Maggie's tiny size hides a sharp and sometimes terrifying level of precision. Perhaps most impressive is Maggie's calmness under pressure. While the rest of the family panics, Maggie often steps in quietly to save the day. Whether it's stopping a brawl or protecting Homer, she acts in hesitation, and that kind of composure in a literal baby makes her strength even scarier. She might not talk much, or at all, but Maggie's strength lies in surprise. No one ever expects her to do anything, which makes her moments of action hit even harder. And if the baby of the family can pull off feats like this, then imagine what happens when we look at Lisa, the girl whose strength isn't physical but powerful enough to change the entire town of Springfield. Lisa Simpson isn't known for throwing punches or lifting cars. But make no mistake, her strength is real. Unlike Bart's reckless durability or Maggie's shocking bursts of power, Lisa's strength comes from her mind, her willpower, and her ability to change the world around her. For starters, Lisa has repeatedly stood up to the entire town of Springfield and won. In Lisa the Vegetarian, she took on not just her family, but every meat-loving citizen in Springfield. Everyone mocked her, pressured her, even tried to break her down. Yet Lisa stood firm in her beliefs. That kind of resilience, holding your ground when the whole world is against you, is its own kind of superpower. Her intelligence is another weapon. Lisa is only 8 years old, but she's outsmarted politicians, businessmen, and even criminal masterminds. In Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, she delivers a speech so powerful it shames corrupt politicians into changing their ways. In Lisa vs. Malibu, Stacy, she goes head-to-head with a major corporation and exposes the harmful stereotypes in their toys. These aren't just little wins. These are moments where Lisa literally changes society. And while her physical feats are rarer, they're still impressive. Her saxophone isn't just music, it's lung power, stamina, and control. She's played long, grueling solos that take more endurance than most adults could manage. On top of that, she's shown athletic ability in sports like hockey, where she went toe-to-toe with Bart and nearly beat him in sheer determination. But maybe Lisa's greatest strength is her influence. When Lisa decides something matters, she has a way of pulling others along with her. Whether it's convincing her family to recycle, teaching Springfield about Buddhism, or calling out injustice, her voice carries more power than most superheroes' fists. Lisa might not throw people through walls, but her strength is measured in impact. She can change minds, shift culture, and stand unshaken in the face of overwhelming pressure. And in Springfield, where chaos reigns, that kind of power is rare. But as strong as Lisa's willpower is, the real shock comes when we turn to her dad. Because Homer Simpson, despite looking like the weakest of them all, has survived things no ordinary human ever could. Homer Simpson might look like the weakest member of the family. He's overweight, clumsy, and spends most of his time sitting on the couch. But if you've watched the show closely, you'll realize Homer's body is one of the toughest in cartoon history. In fact, some of his feats of strength and durability are so extreme they almost make him look superhuman. Let's start with his most famous brush with strength: boxing. In the Homer They Fall, Homer becomes a professional fighter. His secret? He can take hit after hit without going down. Even when Drederick Tatum, a parody of Mike Tyson, pounds him with world-class punches, Homer doesn't break. He just stands there, absorbing the punishment like a sponge. Most boxers would be knocked out cold in seconds. Homer lasted long enough to almost win the match, only losing because Mo literally had to fly in with a fan to save him. That kind of durability is almost terrifying. But it's not just in the ring. Homer has survived falls from skyscrapers, being run over by cars, explosions, and even radiation exposure at the nuclear power plant. In one episode, he's crushed by a vending machine, only to casually walk away after Lenny and Carl help pry him loose. In another, he survives a cannonball straight to the gut during a music festival. Each time, Homer comes back like nothing happened. It's as if his body runs on cartoon logic, where pain just doesn't apply the same way it does to anyone else. And despite his lazy nature, Homer has moments of real physical strength. He's been shown lifting heavy objects that would be impossible for a man of his build. In King-Size Homer, he gains extreme weight and is still able to run and move with surprising speed when motivated. In other episodes, he's carried large pieces of furniture, fought off wild animals, and even gone toe-to-toe with criminals. His strength isn't consistent, but when it shows up, it's incredible. Then there's his sheer resilience to situations that should kill him. Homer has been electrocuted, shot with darts, crushed by wrecking balls, and nearly drowned multiple times. Yet each time he pops back up, ready for another round of stupidity. Some fans even joke that Homer has Wolverine-level healing because he recovers way too quickly for a normal human. What makes Homer especially dangerous is that his power is unpredictable. You never know when he'll be too lazy to lift a finger, or when he'll suddenly snap and summon enough strength to tackle a problem head-on. And when those rare moments happen, Homer shows he's far more than just the buffoon of the family. But even with all of Homer's absurd durability, there's one Simpson who stands above the rest: the quiet, overlooked powerhouse of the family, Marge Simpson. Marge Simpson often gets overlooked. She's the glue that holds the family together, the one who keeps Homer from wrecking Springfield every other week, and the mom who somehow manages to keep Bart, Lisa, and Maggie alive despite their constant chaos. But don't let the blue hair and calm demeanor fool you. Marge has proven, time and time again, that she might actually be the strongest Simpson of them all. One of her most iconic feats of strength comes in Marge vs. the monorail. When the entire town is about to fly into disaster, Homer tries to pull one of his usual reckless stunts. And what does Marge do? She physically restrains him, holding him back with nothing but raw strength while the world spins out of control. For someone half his size, Keeping Homer pinned down shows a level of power most people wouldn't expect from her. But this isn't the only time Marge's strength has taken center stage. In the Springfield connection, Marge joins the police force, and suddenly we see a whole new side of her. She takes on criminals in alleyways, chases suspects down, and even proves she can handle herself better in a fight than many of the actual officers. It's not just brute force, either. Marge has precision, focus, and stamina that make her a natural fighter. Then there's her infamous mom rage. When her kids are threatened, Marge goes from calm and patient to unstoppable. In The Boy Who Knew Too Much, she's ready to confront an entire courtroom of people if it means protecting Bart. And in other episodes, we've seen her lift heavy furniture, tear doors off their hinges, and even overpower multiple bullies at once. When Marge's protective instincts kick in, there's almost nothing in Springfield that can stop her. Another underrated part of Marge's strength is her endurance. While Homer collapses at the first sign of stress, Marge shoulders the family's problems every single day, managing the house, keeping up with the bills, raising 3 kids, and constantly cleaning up after Homer's disasters. It's like she has the stamina of a marathon runner. That ability to keep going, even when everyone else has given up, is its own kind of superpower. And if you want proof of just how scary Marge can be, look at episodes where she truly loses her patience. In Marge on the Lam, she goes toe-to-toe with Ruth Powers, keeping up with her on a wild crime spree. And in Marge Gamer, when she gets caught up in an online video game, she becomes a full-blown warrior character, fighting with surprising ferocity. These moments prove that Marge has the strength and determination to adapt to any situation, whether it's in real life or even in a virtual world. Marge's strength isn't about flashy displays of power, like Homer getting hit with a wrecking ball or Bart surviving Springfield Gorge. Hers is quieter, steadier, and sometimes even scarier, because when she finally snaps, it feels like all that bottled-up patience explodes into unstoppable force. If Homer is the family's tank and Bart is their reckless fighter, then Marge is the hidden weapon, stable, patient, and devastating when unleashed. That's how strong the Simpsons family really is. If you like this breakdown and want more hidden moments from Springfield, make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss what's next.